Hey, it's Molly, and we're on day 3 of the Target Audiences Profile course, and we're filling in the Visitor Persona worksheet. For this, we want to look at who is visiting your site as a whole, who is visiting your blog specifically, and who is making macro and micro conversions on your site. I explain what these are in the email. We're going to find all of this information in Google Analytics. So let's start with age by going into audience, demographics, and age. We want to set our date range for a long enough date to get a good amount of information. I have 1 year's worth of data on the screen now. We can see that 40.65% of our overall website visitors were between the ages of 25 and 34. 26.37% were 18 to 24, and so on. Record these percentages in column B of the age tab in your spreadsheet. Next, let's skip over to columns D and E, micro and macro conversions, because they're easy enough to find over here. For our micro conversions, I like to look at newsletter subscribers, and we can see that 35.27% of them were between the ages of 25 and 34, and so on. We always want to make sure that for our micro and macro conversions, they are pulling from all website traffic and not a specific segment. Our Create Your Strategy form is what we usually use for our macro conversions, and we can see the percentages here. Now let's go back to column C, percentage of blog traffic, a specific section of your website. For this, we need to make a segment. So click Add New Segment and click the red New Segment button. And we're going to call it Blog Traffic October 2020. And to set it, we want under Advanced Conditions, we want to find Page, because we're just tracking everyone who has accessed any blog page. So for our site, every blog page contains /blog, so that's what I'm going to set. You can see this is the percentage of users that have accessed the blog in general, but for more specific information, we'll hit save. And then down here, we can see blog traffic, and then 40.47% were 25 to 34, 26.56% were 18 to 24, and so on. I'm going to remove this segment because I only like to look at one segment at a time unless I really have to. For the second tab in our sheet is gender, and it's immediately under age, and I'm not going to go through the whole steps because they're the exact same as before. The third tab is location. So for this, we're going to go to geo and then location. What comes up first is a whole bunch of countries. And if you're an international brand, that probably matters. But if you are not, just go ahead and select one country that you want to look specifically at, and it'll break it out based on region. In the spreadsheet, I included a bunch of Australian territories and states for you to fill out, but you can just replace that with whatever is most important to you. Next, let's look at device. We find this under mobile and overview. If you are a software company or have phone apps or something like this, you might find relevant information under devices, which tells you more specific devices that people find. And finally, we're going to look at channel. So for this, we're actually going to go into acquisition, alt traffic, and channels. We're going to see our default channel grouping. We looked at this yesterday, you may remember. But we're just going to look at all users, same conversion goals over here, and then up here, again, we're going to add. You can find that same segment that we created earlier and just hit apply. Fill in these percentages, and if you have any questions, please reach out.